All right. Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
Good.
Good. All right. So I made a presentation here about smartboards. How many of you feel comfortable?
Not at
Many of you. I mean, the two of you. How many of you guys feel comfortable with smartboards?
Not at all. I don't know what I'm doing.
You don't know. It's okay. That's kind of why here. This presentation. I want to first and foremost start out by saying that this presentation was kind of made with the idea of that people don't know anything about smartboards anyway. So I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence or anything like that, but I want to make sure that you guys understand that it's a very simplistic presentation. So if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free. Or if you want me to move along, you can kind of give me a thumbs up, and I will move on. Okay? All right. So this session will help you hopefully become more comfortable with your smartboard. Understand the basic components of your setup in your room. Be able to troubleshoot potential problems. Maintain and clean your smartboard. That's something that I think will alleviate some problems. And effectively use your smartboard in your classroom. So there's even some tips and stuff that I've had that I think will benefit you guys. First, the next thing, the thing I want to stress is keep calm and restart your PC. This is something that I think is really important. Like I had a little bit of tech problems at the beginning of this with my laptop. I had to restart it and voila, it worked. Sometimes just a simple restart helps. Types of smartboards, we have several different types. Thank goodness we don't really have this type of smartboard, I don't think. Does anybody recognize this or seen smartboards like this? This one we actually had in our building. I added that in there just in case we had one floating around. But most of the smartboards kind of look like the one on the left, right? So again, keep calm, restart your PC. I kind of went back by accident, sorry. One of the biggest things that I will say about your smartboards, a lot of the newer smartboards have these sensors in the corners that not very many people know about. Have you guys ever written on a smartboard and the pen is like here, but the marks on the board are down here? Sometimes these sensors need cleaning. And some people don't even know that they exist on the actual smartboard itself. So I want to make sure that I point that out first and foremost. The second thing is, this is actually a picture of the smartboard, like the input. Now keep in mind I'm not an IT person, so I'm not going to know the terminology for everything, but I will say that this is kind of like a printer cable type look, if you ever know what a printer cable looks like. And this is kind of like the touch cord. And then this is, of course, the HDMI hookup that's going to go to your computer, connect your computer to the actual smartboard itself. Okay? You guys have any questions about that?
I have a wireless projector, just like that.
Yeah.
Can I stick that in there so that I can go through my slideshow with it?
Actually, yes.
Like the wireless clicker?
That was actually something I was going to add later, is that if you think of your smartboard like a TV, it is literally like that. Like it has an operating system on the smartboard, right? The TV itself has its own operating system. When you turn it on, it may have apps even. Some new TVs have apps on it. Same thing with a smartboard. However, you can still hook up a Roku stick or a Fire Stick or something to it, or a Blu-ray player, and that interface will show up, right? That's the same thing here. Oftentimes the computers are attached and should be attached to all the smartboards. I did write an IT ticket. I was told by Gina that IT was in here during the summer, so hopefully that is the case, right? Mm-hmm. But you can hook up, keep in mind if you have like a Blu-ray player, you can hook it up. Now you won't have the touch capabilities with it, but like I brought in my Wii at the end of the year, and I hooked up a Wii to the smartboard, and we played Wii in the classroom for a fun activity, like a Mario themed day, right? So keep in mind that you can use your smartboard in different ways. You can hook up a dock camera to it. I have a dock camera that I use. Yep, that I use. That's actually hooked up to the computer, not really the smartboard, but you can. If for some reason something happens to your computer, you can actually hook up a wireless keyboard too, and a mouse, so that way you can use a mouse and a keyboard with the smartboard, the operating system on that. So I know sometimes we have tech issues when, like, some people hook up their laptops to the actual smartboard, but you can use the actual operating system on the Smartboard too. Okay. So it's important to kind of understand these hookups. If the touch isn't working, sometimes it's good to check to make sure this doesn't jiggle out. People banging on the wall on the other side of in another classroom, and other students having a behavior. Over time things get loose. So it's good to check the wires. Something to also keep in mind: plugs and power strips. Again, just a common theme. Hopefully, IT is looking at securing them. Like this setup is really nice because it's connected in the wall there, and there's multiple there. But some classrooms have power strips and things. Again, the idea here is just making sure that everything that is supposed to be working is plugged in. Like if you have a sound bar, which I will come up, make sure it's plugged in if you're not getting audio. Okay. All right. So sleep and reset of the Smartboards. Oftentimes, like even the Smartboard that I have this thing here. If you hit the button all the way to the left, here, you'll see that it's like press that again, it'll go to sleep. If you press and hold it, it'll actually reset the Smartboard itself. So that's something to really try.
That signs you out though, right?
What's that?
It signs you out when you reset it.
Not the Smartboard itself. If you're signed in on a computer, the computer will still be on unless you turn it off. Mm-hmm. But I encourage you, like if you shut down and have to restart your computer, restart the Smartboard too, so that way everything is kind of rebooting.
Okay.
That's like a good way to troubleshoot. Here's the soundbar. Soundbars are kind of got phased out from New Story. They used to be in all the rooms, but they kind of got phased out. I do not think that's actually the right thing to do because I don't feel like the audio on the Smartboards is sufficient. However, people would disagree with me on that. So I do like the soundbars. The soundbars that they did have, this is like an Amazon a basic one I found out. Has RCA auxiliary and optical input and stuff. I'm not going to really talk too much about this, but there might be a few of these floating around the building. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of them. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, the connection, the audio. If you do have a sound, like a sound bar, oftentimes you get connected to the front of your computer. Like this is the front of the computer, which means clean, by the way. In this picture, you can see the dust and debris. Make sure that it's plugged in and, again, fully secured if you have a sound bar. Okay? All right. Sound. Has anyone ever had problems with sounds or audio?
It's like not loud enough.
Not loud enough, right? That's kind of what I was talking about with the sound bars. I actually think the sound bars are better, much better than the Smartboards. So that's something I'm going to advocate for. It sounds really silly, but like when you have a classroom and you have screaming and yelling, with our population of students, there might be only 8 students in a classroom, but it might feel like you're at a stadium, like actually at a football game or something by how loud it can get sometimes. So the audio is really, really important to try to maintain or to gain back that instructional control, right? So if you do have audio problems on the bottom, this is again using a computer interface, not the Smartboard. On the bottom here on your desktop in Windows, there's an audio. Make sure that the Intel display audio is the one audio that you're looking for if you can't hear anything. Does that make sense? Okay. If you have like an actual soundbar though, that will be connected through the speaker's headphone, or in my case, I have one, a soundbar that's hooked up by Bluetooth. I just connected through Bluetooth, and so I use the Bluetooth connection.
How would you know if it is or not?
If you have a computer hooked up to it, you'll be able to go down to the right side of the screen and click the arrow, or actually you click where the date is. Sorry, the date and the time, and then up there there'll be a dialog box that will tell you there's like an audio, like a speaker icon. You just click that and it'll tell you which audio device is available, what's actually selected as your input. Okay, does that make sense?
I think.
So if you need further help with this, I can show you actually in your rooms that you're actually in too. Because not all the Smartboards are the same. So something to keep in mind. So if you need that extra support, just let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would. I do have a sound bar.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
So it actually was broken.
I don't recall your room having a computer. However, I'm hoping IT came in and installed a computer to your.
I have something on the side.
So you do have a computer there.
I
The
do, but
computer-
the keyboard won't work with it and the mouse.
Oh yeah. So you'll need a keyboard and a mouse.
I have them, it just doesn't work with it.
That's something we could definitely look at.
Okay. That would be good.
All right.
If you could.
This is. I'm gonna say this is the most. Sorry, I'm looking at time too. I got started a little late, so I don't want to hold you guys up too much either. But if you guys have any questions, like I said, if you guys need one-on-one support, feel free to ask, because that's one of the other things about training. Any type of trainings is like that one-on-one support is, I think, is more essential, and sometimes we don't get that. And I'm the kind of person that like I'd rather show somebody all the equipment that they're using in the setting that they're using it in, right? Anyway, with the most common smartboard you see will be this one here. I keep hitting the back button, I'm sorry. I'm going to kind of skip ahead here. If you see this screen here, where there's Smartboard board apps here, this is not a computer. This is the actual Smartboard interface. Everyone understand that?
Yes.
Got that? Sorry. I just want to make sure I'm clarifying this because when you go on this, you'll see files and often drawings. That's not Windows. This is the operating system that comes on the Smartboard. Sometimes there's like differences. I can't stress this enough because sometimes when people say they have Smartboard problems, they're actually having computer problems. And so there is a difference. Again, the Smartboard is just the kind of almost like the TV that you're using, and the computer is like the input of that device. However, if you do have a problem with things here, this is the Smartboard. So it's the operating system on the Smartboard. Okay, so again, if you see this interface with files, apps, input, screen share, this is kind of the operating system on the Smartboard. So if you've been using this, you're not using Windows.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so then you're using the computer for sure. Okay. All right. Maintaining and cleaning the Smartboard. I do want to talk about this briefly. Make sure you turn off any connected computers. Turn off the display. Wipe the screen with a lint-free, non-abrasive cloth. If you guys, I don't know about you, but my students use devices and they get nasty. Smartboards get just as nasty, especially if you actually are using them, and hopefully students are using them, and that's something I want to get into with using your Smartboard. Sometimes they do end up being more TVs than actual interactive devices in classrooms, and I totally get that. But I'm like more of an advocate for using the Smartboards and using technology. So, but anyway, make sure that we are taking care of them. Wiping with a lint-free or non-abrasive cloth, like even a microfiber cloth. I actually bring in. I have to really. I'm saying this on camera, so I want to make sure also that I'm being honest too. Is that I use one of the actual sprays, but I'm not quite sure if it's an approved thing because we do have a chemical list that we have to report what chemicals we're using in our classrooms and stuff. So I do use that. I know people, I think Clorox wipes are approved now, but we used to not be able to use Clorox wipes. But I think they're okay now. So that's something we do have to make sure we're checking on and being mindful of what chemicals we're using. But I do have like an electronic spray that I use on the Smartboard, and that works really, really well. The sensors on the corners, each corner has a sensor. Make sure you're gently wiping them. Don't push hard or anything like that. But please make sure you are cleaning those sensors from time to time, at least once a quarter, if that. Probably more often, just because you want to make sure that'll kind of alleviate that, like putting the pen and then nothing's like you're writing down here. Sometimes that's a sensor issue that could be caused because of dust, debris, students putting their fingers in their mouths and then touching the Smartboards. We want to make sure that we are doing that. I've seen students do really gross things. I'm not going to talk about it at this moment, and then go ahead and touch devices and things, and it's gross. But just be mindful that we're actually cleaning them, okay? Again, keep calm and restart your computer. I can't, and Smartboard, I can't stress that enough. Lastly, I want to end this here, I'm sorry. this stuff I do want to go into more. I'm actually wanting to talk to John about emphasizing this more. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like our trainings often don't actually apply sometimes to actually what we do.
Yes.
This, I feel, applies so much. Use your Smartboards. I can't stress this enough. Please, please, please use your Smartboards for more than just like presenting videos and things. You can use them just so you know, you can sync your Google Chrome or web browsers from your laptops to your computers. Some teachers don't do this, and it's like because they might not know how, which I think is very important. So in other words, if you get if you're at home and you're lesson planning, you put a link up, you bookmark a link. If you have it synced, when you log onto your Smartboard, that link will come up. You don't have to go fishing for it or emailing yourself things. You can find them. Create shortcuts to your OneDrives. Also, on the actual desktop itself, you can put a folder for like PowerPoint presentations or ELAs, and anything you move into those folders will be brought up. So your files will be available, readily available. Transition times is something that we don't have a lot of. We just don't. Like, they want to pack our day, as teachers, they want to pack our day in with, make sure you're doing 30 minutes of social skills, make sure you're doing an hour and a half of ELA, make sure you're doing an hour of this, hour and that. It doesn't, too often than not, that's not happening. There's too much going on, student behaviors and things like that. There's too much going on. So transition time, anything that can make your life easier, I feel, or make your instructional materials more accessible, do. That's kind of my philosophy anyway. So you can personalize your desktop. If you have a visual schedule in your room, put it on the wallpaper. Just put it on the wallpaper like this. I did this the other year. You can make your visual. You can use I'm just throwing things out there to personalize your desktop. Don't be afraid to treat your desktop actually as a bulletin board. You can find pictures, take a picture of things, put it up on your smartboard. I've seen a teacher actually put pictures of students and things on the smartboard at times, and just to emphasize certain things. Or there's student work you want to emphasize. Maybe instead of putting it on the wall, put it on the smartboard. Like, digitize it. That'll really make the smartboards are front and center of the room, right? So that really makes students feel special when they see those types of things. So just something that I want to emphasize. Also use 3D models. This is a link. This is actually a link I'm not going to go into because of time, but this is a 3D interactive Earth. So you can pull up different models, and then you can move the Earth around, and you can kind of spin the Earth, all sorts of things, play around. Use virtual quizzes. Take your class on a virtual tour using the smartboards, things like that. But you can use a lot of digital manipulatives, dice, things like that. And then you can use Smart Notebook instead of PowerPoint too, which I can get into. So don't forget about News Story Live accounts, which I'm going to get into shortly. But does anybody have any questions about this? I'm going to kind of wrap this up. I'm sorry I'm moving really quickly now because it took a little while. Students love technology. Smartboards are a great use, I think, especially for kids with autism who are directly drawn to those screens anyway. It's just something I feel passionate about. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you guys for hanging with me.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, I'm going to pause this.